So glad to have you. Today we're going to talk about WIMBA. Since this is our inaugural program, we just want to talk about how we got started and, let people know who we are and what we do. So, being founding members of WIMBA, what was our initial vision for forming WIMBA, forming this alliance? You guys remember?
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember because that was in your living room.
Right.
Yes. And there were about 10 of us that came together in that room. We were all women that had history in business.
Yes.
We had experience. We were also women in ministry. And so we had a double duty load going on and was just looking for a way to balance it all out.
Yeah, yeah.
And so coming to your home, being invited to your home to sit down and think about, now how can we benefit from this? How can we all come together and provide something that's beneficial to everyone?
Right.
And that was the initial think tank
Yeah,
that came
yeah.
together.
It was,
I know you
it was
were there,
amazing.
Pam.
I was. First of all, I was so tremendously honored to be invited. And then I think everyone was.
Yes.
And we never know as women who are leaders or women who are in ministry and business how other people see you.
Yes.
And so, I think we were all pretty excited, like, oh my gosh, we're going to the home of Pastor Joyce Calvin. And then we get there, and you're such a gracious hostess, just very comfortable, kick off your shoes, sit wherever you like. And then I love that it wasn't about just getting together, which would have been good, but it was about, let's recognize where God has brought all of us, and how did we get there, and what have we each learned that can benefit each other. So that, it was, I love to hear those beginning stories of how something began in somebody's living room.
Yes.
And from there, we decided that, first of all, it was so empowering to look around the room and to see all of these powerful women that were walking in their purpose. That being said, once we began to talk and we realized that in being leaders, that it's lonely the further that God takes you, promotes you. Your journey becomes lonesome sometimes. You don't have people to talk
Absolutely.
to. And so what were some of the takeaways that you took from that initial meeting and then as we continued on?
One of the main takeaways that I got from that initial meeting was knowing that I'm not alone.
Okay.
And that even though, we all have to run the race that the Father has set for us.
Right.
And you're right, the further along you get, sometimes you look around and there's not a lot of people there with you.
Exactly.
And but it took that feeling of wondering, does anyone understand what it's like? Sometimes and it keeps us from being so self-absorbed to saying I'm the only one
Yes.
that's trying to balance, being a mom and an executive, or I'm trying to build something.
Exactly.
And who can help me? So it right away it took that away. The second thing I loved was that we all came to put our finger or our ear to the heart of God.
Yes.
Yes.
I loved it that we did not come and Pastor Joyce had an agenda to say, okay, here's the agenda, you guys all get on board. It was really,
Yes.
I love that it was so organic. It was, God is dealing with me about connecting. And that's one of the things we hesitate to do because we don't know if anybody's going to understand us. So God is dealing with me about connecting. Pray with me and let's see what Father wants to do.
Exactly.
I loved it. And that's how really this organization has grown
Yes.
of following the cloud and
Yes.
following the fire.
Exactly.
I loved that because I thought, oh, they do it too. You
Yes.
look around at all these powerful women and you think they got it all together from A to Z. But I love to see how all of these amazing ladies have gotten there the same way I'm getting there.
Yes.
Just
Right.
follow God.
Yes,
Whatever He says do, that's what we've been doing.
And one of the other most awesome things was the competition was removed out of it.
Yes.
Yes.
It was like we all sat around and we said, like minds.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, how can we make this into something for other women that are coming up behind us?
Exactly.
And so I've never experienced, and from the start of it, any competition.
No.
Right.
Free giving of ideas, free giving of resources, free giving of thought for one.
Yep.
And that has been the most awesome thing
Yes,
about
indeed.
WIMBA.
And not just no competition, but no elitism.
Yes.
So it wasn't about
Yes.
shut the door, it's just us, you
Yes.
know?
Exactly.
There's real active conversation about how can we help
Yes.
other people?
Yes.
How can we help other women out there? I love that.
Yes.
Loved it. In the kingdom, and particularly in WIMBA, there is an accountability to hold you to a higher
Absolutely.
standard to
Yes.
who God has called you to be.
Yes.
And so that's the accountability that an organization like this will provide. When you are around people who see you as God sees you,
Yes.
and then expects from you
Yes.
that level
Yes.
of excellence and productivity and encouragement, it will change the way you see yourself. And it'll change your ambitions, your goals, your everything about you will change. You get around people who can hear the word of the Lord over you and then hold you account. Remember who you are.
Yes.
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 Exactly.
And be about the
Exactly.
Father's business.
Yes, and
Yes.
celebrate with you. And yeah, that's the kind of accountability that the kingdom provides when he puts people like this together.
And celebrate with you.
Yes.
To ask, what impact has the Alliance had on you as a leader or a minister or
Iron sharpens iron. Because, you know, I have a tendency, I can be very powerful and overbearing. So
Really?
really,
Like what?
I'm very direct. and so what I had done was, and Pastor Joyce pulled me out of it, I had learned to sit back
Ah.
and just observe what other people were doing. And though my pastor, Bishop Gordon, had continuously tried pulling me out, it was like, no stepping out there, no sir.
Yeah.
But every time you show up at WIMBA,
Oh, yes.
oh, did you not know you're on the schedule
Oh,
too?
yes. Yeah, there's no shadows
No
to hide in.
shadows.
And there's no corners to hide in.
And
Like
don't you love
yeah.
the one? And so what is God saying to you? What is God saying to you about WIMBA? Okay, Pastor.
Absolutely.
Iron sharpens iron.
That's a good effect. That's a good effect.
okay?
Yeah, I've had some major internal and external. Internally, there's been a tremendous amount of growth. I've grown personally, knowing how to better connect. Helped me be comfortable with who I am,
Yes.
comfortable with the personality the Lord gave me, being encouraged to be more of you. I think that's one of the things that WIMBA does.
Yes.
I've learned also when you come to the table with strong leaders, many times we are tempted to hold back because we don't always have the expected package of people of leadership. And so the responses that we've gotten in our history, we kind of want to hold back. But I love the environment of
Yes.
honesty and love.
Yes.
Because when there's no love, you can't really be honest.
That's
true.
right. That's
That's
right.
true.
That's right.
When you don't think people love you, you're not going to be honest. If they don't think that you love them, they're not going to really be honest. But because love was such a foundation,
Yes.
love for each other and love for those women that are becoming a part of us, when someone says to you, no, I think you're off on that, why don't you pray about it? I think you don't get insulted.
Exactly.
Or offended.
And that's
Exactly.
where, yeah,
That's
because
right.
you cannot have honesty without love.
Right.
And you can't have love and not be honest.
Yes.
Because if you really love me, you're going
gonna
to tell me the truth.
Exactly.